beat Liverpool 3-0. Well, fuck it. Let's talk about them right now. Like, what the hell is going on? That all these players, like, Liverpool was an absolute... Let's not get crazy. Here we go. 3-team teaser. 08. They just don't give a shit. Yeah. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Football Prediction with me and Teacher Mark.
We're back. Songkran's finished.
It
was a great time. They might still be playing in Pattaya. In Pattaya, they might.
Sure, they will.
Yeah, but it's finished here in Bangkok. I hope everybody had a great holiday for Songkran or wherever you're at around the world. I hope you had a great weekend. There's a lot to cover, a lot to get into.
It is.
So let's just jump right into it.
Here we go.
So there was a lot of action in the Premier League this past weekend. A lot going on. And I think right off the bat, we'll start at the top of the table with what's going on there.
Let's go. Manchester
City, Leicester City. Right there. I mean, the smart money was on Manchester City. I had some money on Manchester City.
You did?
I did, yeah. It's easy money right now.
It is easy money.
It's easy money. It's not a lot of money, but it's easy money. And they destroyed Leicester City. It was 3-1, very comfortable.
Yeah, you know what? I expect them to score more, though. But in the second half, Pep just did something unbelievable.
You could tell in the second half they kind of felt like job done, and that was it. So very comfortable win for them. Now 32 goals for Haaland.
32 goals for Haaland.
How many do you think he's going to finish with this season? In the Premier League,
I think could be 40.
40, yeah,
could be 40. What do you think?
40 is a nice round number. I think his target is 40. He wants 40.
Let's see.
I mean, if he got 40, that would be ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
He's like a robot, to be fair.
Yeah, though. He equaled Salah's record in that game because the record for a 38 match season was 32 goals by Salah, and he got that. He matched that. The record for the 42-game season, which they used to play at the start of the Premier League, is 34 goals. Mm-hmm. That was Andy Cole and Alan Shearer got that. So technically 34 is the record. He'll definitely pass that 34.
100% sure.
100% sure he'll pass that. And he's just going to keep banging them in. But real quick, Leicester City. How do you feel about them right now?
They're in crisis right now.
Leicester City. Deep shit, man.
They're this... last week I was watching him playing against Bournemouth.
Yep.
And then I was like, what the hell is Leicester City doing there?
They look bad in that game against Bournemouth.
They look
terrible. Really bad against Bournemouth.
They're falling down.
Yeah, so, I mean, how do you feel about this sacking Brendan Rodgers? You know, he was there for over 4 years, and, sadly things fell apart this season. But they've replaced him with Dean Smith. How do you feel about that?
It's just completely shit.
Yeah.
I don't feel good with Dean Smith. I mean, if you're still sticking with Rodgers, I think they could get better results. To be fair, I think they could get better results than Dean Smith.
Probably. I do know that Dean Smith wasn't their first choice. A couple of managers turned them down.
Oh, really?
Including the one who was sacked from Leeds, the American, Jesse Marsh. They really wanted him, but he turned him down. He turned down the job. So I think Dean Smith was maybe their third choice. And I don't think that he can save it.
You don't think he can save it?
I don't. I think players' confidence is so low. When I look at Leicester City, they look like resigned to their fate already. Like, you know what? We're going down. It looks like that to me. They still have the talent to save it. The talent's there, but do they have the passion, the desire, and the confidence to do it? It doesn't look like they do.
Do you think they'll be relegated?
Yes, I do.
You think so?
Yes, I think Leicester City will be relegated. I do. I think they'll be relegated. But to be fair, if they win one game, sometimes one game can turn it around. But now we're getting to the end of April, and they're in a terrible spot. It's like, so yeah, I think they'll be relegated.
Okay,
I do.
Best of luck,
yeah. So we'll jump to the other big game at the top of the table. Arsenal West Ham yesterday.
Brilliant. West Ham, you did a brilliant job.
West Ham, again, after 10 minutes, Arsenal are flying, 2-0 up.
Yep.
And then it looks like something just switched off with them, where it was like, okay.
We had it.
It kind of felt like Arsenal, to me, they feel like, okay, we're comfortable. If our opponent scores against us, no problem. We know that we can score. But the problem is they're not scoring right now. The same thing happened with Liverpool. They got those early goals and they didn't score. And it's not job done after 10 minutes. It's not job done after 30 minutes. It's job done after 95 minutes. And Arsenal doesn't have that right now. And fair play to West Ham. They dug deep. They battled in the game. The 2 penalties were the big points in the game. West Ham scored theirs to get back into the game. Then Saka missed a really poor penalty.
I think if he had that,
that would have put him 3-1 up.
And it could be the
that
change
game's
the game.
done. That game's done.
That game is over.
Yeah, I would say it's over. Yeah, but that was a bad miss from Saka.
After that penalty, he wasn't playing well as well.
I know.
Yeah, I mean.
And so for West Ham, it's a great win. It pushes them a little bit closer to safety, which I do think they will be safe this season, no problem. For Arsenal, they're still 4 points ahead, having played 1 extra game. Their actual position right now isn't that bad. The problem is they look low on confidence. They just kind of they're watching what Manchester City are doing right now, and Manchester City are just unstoppable right now. And so Arsenal are thinking to themselves, if we just make one small mistake, one tiny mistake, Manchester City is going to take advantage of it. And
for sure.
And that's happened the last 2 weeks now with them drawing 2 draws, 4 points lost, and Man City have moved up even closer and closer. And obviously, April 26th, they're playing Arsenal, Manchester City
at the
Etihad Stadium. We'll talk a lot more about that game in the coming weeks. We'll make some more videos before that game, but obviously that's the key game. If Arsenal can kind of say, listen, we're going to go into this Manchester City game, we're going to give everything we can, and if they can get a positive result from that game, even a draw in that game would be a damn good result for Arsenal. Damn good. But it doesn't look like they can do it right now. Let's see what happens. When we get close to that game, there's still some matches before that, so we're going to see how form is going into that game. But for Arsenal, it was a bad day.
Well, best of luck, mate. Arsenal fans.
Best of luck.
Best of luck. This video is to Arsenal fans.
I think Arsenal got to get their shit together. They're sinking right now. It's not too late. But they're in big trouble.
Trophy is coming into the blue side.
The trophy is shifting to the blue.
Arsenal fans, I had a gift for you. Coming home, it's coming to the blue side right now.
Are you feeling good about Man City right now?
I am feeling pretty good.
Premier League champions.
Premier League champions. I am feeling pretty. You know, before this game happened, I was getting assaulted by my friends. Like, oh, yo, Man City ain't having it. They ain't winning the triple trophies. And I was like, mate, okay, we'll see then. And then West Ham completely backed up those assaults that I've got. So
you think it's going to be a treble for Man City? You think they're going to get all 3?
Probably. What do you think about it? I think so. I think they'll get it.
I would, man, yeah, I do. I think they'll get the Champions League. The Champions League right now, yeah, I think Man City will win it.
What about the Premier League? Now we're talking about Premier League.
I think Man City will get the Premier League as well.
You'll get it. So Arsenal fans, best of luck.
Honestly, the only team that might be able to stop this treble is the winner of the Brighton Man United FA Cup semi-final. They might be able to beat Man City in the FA Cup final. That possibly could happen, possibly. But that's a long way away. So right now, Man City's just got to focus on these games.
On Premier League first.
Focus on Premier League, focus on these matches, and then see how it plays out. But they look awesome right now. Awesome. Arsenal, they're shaky. They're really shaky. But there's still enough time for Arsenal to turn it around. They have 7 games left. 74 points with 7 games left. It's still a good position. It is. They've got to take advantage of what they've done through these 31 games and say, listen, we can't throw this away.
Keep in mind, they still have Newcastle.
I know they have Newcastle.
Brighton as well. Brighton is another team you can't look over.
Yeah, they've got Man City. They've got Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea are garbage, though.
I know Chelsea are garbage.
We'll talk about them.
Yeah, we'll talk about them.
Well, fuck it. Let's talk about them right now.
All right, let's go. Chelsea against Brighton, ladies and gentlemen.
Chelsea against Brighton. I mean, Brighton just blew them away. I mean, that was 2-1. It might as well have been 5-1.
Yep.
I mean, Brighton just blew them away. Chelsea looked awful. Lampard, 3 matches, 3 losses. Yeah, 3 losses. Man, do you think that Chelsea have any chance to start playing well with Frank Lampard?
Now Chelsea is unpredictable right now. But I think Lampard, he's living on his football career.
Past glories,
yeah. He's living on his past glory. I don't think so. The problem with them are it's like what's his name? Todd Bowley.
Yeah, Todd Bowley.
He could build a best Formula cars in the world, but the problem is he's the ones driving it.
Oh, I know.
He's the ones driving it. So
he looks completely out of depth.
Yep. The problem with Chelsea wasn't their manager. The problem was their owner.
The owner, yeah. Todd Bowley. he looks like he's fishing without a pole right now. I mean, he has no idea about what the hell is going on. He's signing players with mega contracts and mega transfer fees. And bringing back Frank Lampard was... They thought that it was going to kind of inspire them. Former greatness come in for the last 15, 16 matches of the season, really inspire the club, you know, kind of this English attitude of, okay, let's batten down the hatches. We've got the old greatness back. Lampard's going to bring us home, bring us to glory. But the problem is Frank Lampard's a terrible manager, and Chelsea can't score goals.
They just even the goal they scored. This is the first goal in 3 matches.
And it took
Lampard.
an ugly deflection.
Yeah,
ugly deflection.
Well.
Yeah, that's been Chelsea's problem since August. They cannot score goals, full stop. And it's continued with Tuchel, and it's continued with Potter, and now it's happening with Lampard. They just cannot put the ball in the back of the net. Full stop, that's it. We're not splitting atoms here. It's not rocket scientists. They can't bang in the goals. And because that's going on, it means like if they just make one little mistake defensively, they're in deep shit.
They are.
Because they can't get back into a game.
They just can't. Look at them against Brighton.
Oh, man.
2-1.
Even when they were 1-0 up, 20 minutes gone by, Brighton still looked comfortable.
Yeah, Chelsea didn't look good at all.
Chelsea didn't look good at all. So great win. Let's talk a bit about Brighton. They're moving way up the table. It looks like they have a great chance at Europa League top 6 next season. What do you think? You think they're going to finish top 6?
I think so, because now Brighton wasn't like the same anymore. Now Brighton is another team that you just can't look over.
Correct.
Look at the players they've got. I mean, look at the way they turned Chelsea around, the way they play against Arsenal earlier in the season.
They beat Liverpool 3-0. And then they beat them 3-0. And then a couple of weeks later, they beat them in the FA Cup 2-1. So, they went bang, bang, win over Liverpool. They beat Man United the first match of the season.
Yep.
Ten Hag's first game. Brighton beat them 2-1. So, Brighton they've got great wins throughout the entire season, great results. And, I think they'll finish top 6.
You think they'll finish top 6?
I do. I do. But one team that could possibly keep them out of the top 6 that we can talk about right now, Aston Villa. I mean, they are just on fire right now.
They're on a roll.
And since the World Cup, only MANCITY and Arsenal are better in the Premier League.
Yeah, you're right.
Unai Emery has completely turned that around. He's got Aston Villa on fire right now. They destroyed Newcastle at the weekend.
Which is what I told you.
Yeah, we were messaging about that game.
I was texting him.
Yeah, Newcastle had been in good form recently, but they had a bad day, and Aston Villa took advantage. They hammered them. Villa looked like a good bet to finish top 6 as well. They're banging in the goals. Ollie Watkins
he just can't stop scoring.
He's on fire right now. So Aston Villa looked great. They had a great win. They can feel really, really good about how they're finishing up their season. And they look like they have a bright future.
They are. But I think one reason that made Newcastle lost that game, have you seen Nick Pope?
I've seen Nick Pope.
The way he's playing, the positioning that he's been, the positioning of him is like, oh my God, I was thinking, what is he doing? The second goal, he was standing on the first post, and Joaquin was like, you know what, he's there, fuck it, I'll put another corner.
Correct. It's true. Nick Pope did have some bad position in that game.
Poor performance from him in that match.
It was a poor performance from the entire team.
And Southgate was watching that game as well.
He was.
So Nick Pope, I don't know, best of luck, mate.
Best of luck. Yeah, it was a great win for Villa, though. Great win. Newcastle looked poor. Newcastle should still finish top 4, though. They should. I like them. I mean, honestly, the only team that can probably catch them top 4 is Aston Villa, because Spurs sure as hell aren't going to do it.
They're blown away right
And let's talk a bit about Spurs as well. They had an ugly 3-2 loss with Bournemouth. Now, fair play to Bournemouth. They're another team that's really, really hot right now. It all started with that game against Arsenal like 6 weeks ago when they were so unlucky. And since then, they've beaten Liverpool, they've beaten Fulham, they've beaten Leicester City, and now they've beaten Spurs. And they're playing well. They're safe. Bournemouth, even at the start of the season, Bournemouth could score goals. Scoring goals were never a problem for Bournemouth. They're kind of the opposite of Chelsea. They can score goals. The problem for Bournemouth, which put them into big trouble, was their defending was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Correct.
Keep in mind, they lost 9-0 to Liverpool earlier this season in the Premier League. So now that they've started defending a bit better and they've continued to score goals, they're going to be safe.
I think so, but...
Yep, I like Bournemouth. But back to Spurs. They capitulated again. But I was watching that game and I felt good about it because it's kind of like the karma really came to balance that out because
The VAR.
the game with Brighton the week before was ridiculous.
It was a criminal. Someone called the police.
Yeah, I actually felt like there could have been
some money involved.
Definitely, that could have been a fixed game. It really could.
be.
It didn't make sense. It defied logic. It defied clarity, and it looked like the referees or the VAR might have had some money on that game.
This is another game that referee destroys football.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So now, fast forward a week later, Brighton, they get their justice because they played great against Chelsea, got their deserved 3 points. And Spurs, the karma came and bit them in the ass because, Bournemouth got that late goal in the 95th minute to beat them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we have some balance in the universe with that. So Spurs, I don't think they're finishing top 4. Is not going to happen. They're not consistent enough. And Spurs are Spurs.
I mean, even it's 2-1, they're working their ass off to score the equalizer. And once they score the equalizer, I mean,
I know.
5 minutes later, bang.
Bang, yeah. Positioning, it's really, so, okay. Top 4, you feel good about Man City, Arsenal, Man U, Newcastle?
Yep, I think that's pretty confident.
How about 5, 6, 7, and 8? What do you think is going to happen there? How are those positions going to shape up? 5, 6, 7, 8?
It could be, the 5th could be Villa.
I think so. Villa.
6 could be Brighton.
Brighton,
but the 7, who would it?
Who do you think for 7? Spurs or Liverpool?
Could be Liverpool. I don't know. It could be Liverpool.
Yeah.
It could be Liverpool. If they win this game against Leeds.
We'll talk about that game. We'll talk about it. Yeah, Liverpool, they...
But I think now they're better than Spurs. I really think Spurs are shit right now.
Spurs are shit. Liverpool, well, maybe they're not better than Spurs. Maybe they're just less worse. Is how we can look at it because they're both bad teams. But I think Villa and Brighton 5-6. That looks a very safe bet.
That's a very great call. I think that's a very strong call.
Let's see how it plays out. There's still a lot of football, but Villa and Brighton are on a roll right now. Spurs look terrible. Liverpool look terrible. So let's talk about some more games, though. Some key games at the bottom. And this is a game that you and I were messaging about, talking about Everton and Fulham.
Oh, gosh.
That is a pathetic display from Everton. I think that's their most shameful display of the season. Keep in mind, this is a Fulham team in crisis right now.
They are. No Mitrovic as well.
After Mitrovic, bumped the referee, blah, blah, blah. Fulham had been in terrible form. They looked bad for the past 5 matches, and they went in there and they just blew Everton away. Just blew them away. Everton looked lost. That was a game I was thinking okay. Because keep in mind, Everton had the draw with Chelsea recently.
Yep.
They lost to Man United last weekend, 2-0. They didn't play very well in that game. But I was still thinking, Everton at home, this is the perfect time to be playing Fulham. They should win that game. They should put in a good performance, and Fulham just embarrassed them.
Yeah, but now what do you think about Sean Dyche then? Once you see the result.
Okay, so here's the thing about Sean Dyche. The new manager bounce is gone. They say when a new manager comes in, you get those kind of 10 games, that excitement is there. But Sean Dyche came in early February, and he did great. He came in...
The first game against Arsenal as well.
First game against Arsenal, yeah. And also they had a few other wins as well since then. I think he has 3 or 4 wins. But now it's time where we've got to see if he can do it. That excitement is gone, and now it's about the players. The players have to perform. I still think Everton are going to be safe barely. And I mean, they might be safe on goal differential. It could come down to goal differential. Because Southampton, I think, are going down now, and I think Leicester City are going down, which leads us to really Nottingham Forest and Everton. Nottingham Forest, sadly, they've collapsed. I watched them yesterday against Man United. We can talk about that game now. That's another game that I felt like they were playing Man United at a good time.
They should have got something from that game.
They should have. Man United have a lot of injuries right now. They just played in the Europa League the other night. It was all set up for Forest to get something in that game. And frankly, they just weren't good enough.
They just couldn't pull it off.
No, and now I think they've gone 10 games without a win. And it looks like they know that they're in deep shit. If they don't get a win in their next match, they've got to win a game.
I know, but
That's
this,
it.
I mean, the game that they're playing against Manchester, Steve Cooper should be licking his lips because Rashford is out.
Rashford's
Martinez is out.
I know.
And they have
Varane is out.
Varane is out, and they just played the conference game.
I know it. I know it. There's, and they couldn't get anything done. And Man United, you know, fair play. Sancho, he had a pretty good game. He had a lot of energy. And Man U deserved their win, and they got it. Nottingham Forest have to win a game. If it does come down to Nottingham Forest and Everton for that last relegation spot, sadly, I think Nottingham Forest will be relegated.
You think so?
Yeah, but one win can turn it around. They simply have to win a game.
Who knows?
It's that easy. They've got to get a win. They look terrible right now, but Everton look bad as well. Each team, I think, has maybe 7 games left. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very, very tight. But I think Nottingham Forest are in more trouble right now than Everton.
You think so?
I do. Yeah.
To be fair, I really like Forest though.
I like Forest as well. I hope Forest can stay up. I
really
hope they
hope so.
can. It kind of feels like Everton need to be relegated to kind of reset. That's a toxic club, really toxic. And maybe going down, they can kind of like collect themselves and restart, rebuild. One other thing I want to mention about that Man U Forest game, did you see a Christian Eriksen out there?
Christian Eriksen?
Yeah, for Man U playing. So he's playing. Dude, he got fat. I was watching that game with my wife, and I was like, I don't want to fat shame anybody. Like, I don't feel good about saying this stuff, but I was like, is that Christian Eriksen? And he's got this really heavy beard right now. Like, something happened. Like, I don't know. He doesn't look good. It looks like he put on a lot of weight, and I didn't think he played a very good game either. He was substituted off after like 70 minutes. I thought he had a poor game.
He got a big time off.
I know it. He looked like during that time off he was hitting the buffets because man, like I was surprised at how much weight that guy put on. Really surprised. It looks like an Eden Hazard situation.
Eden Hazard situation.
Yeah.
So a fact situation. I'm not trying to bully shaming or something.
I know. I was just surprised.
We're just talking facts. It's logics. We can't.
I was just surprised. That's it. Fair play, Man United. Still a nice win for them.
Talking about resets, I really want to talk about Crystal Palace now.
Oh, Palace,
they just resets from the World Cup.
Well,
Roy Hodgson,
9 from 9, 3 wins on the spin.
They're on a roll, ladies and gentlemen.
They're
on a roll.
It just goes to show like what a managerial change can do. Like listen, I like Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira was there for like 18 months, and he did an admirable job. But they had just kind of flatlined with Patrick Vieira. You know, no wins. They had 0 wins in 2023, and now Roy Hodgson's come in and they've won 3 games. You know, it just goes to show that the players maybe weren't getting the message from Vieira. A change needed to happen, and now Crystal Palace look a completely different team.
Not a different team. They just beat Leeds 5-1.
5-1, I know it.
And Leeds scores first as well.
Yeah, that game was at Ellen Road.
I thought it was like Roy Hodgson. I mean, best of luck, mate. It's over when Leeds scores first. And it was at Ellen Road.
Ellen Road, I know it.
With all those Leeds fans, you know.
Yeah.
And they turn around completely. Roy Hodgson.
And then a couple days ago, they're playing Southampton. That game's at St. Mary's.
Yep.
Southampton, bottom of the table. They have to win. Southampton has to win that game. And Crystal Palace goes in there and says, nope,
sorry.
Ain't going to happen.
We're texting as well, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
What would that be?
It was a comfortable win for Palace. Comfortable
I
win.
text him that I think this game, Crystal Palace will have something.
Yep.
And he said that, but hold on.
Yeah.
I think this game is pretty risky to touch.
Yeah, I didn't touch that game.
You didn't touch it. I touched Crystal Palace.
Well
to
played.
be fair, I'm
sir.
confident in Roy Hodgson.
Yep.
But yep, Lee.
Well, if you got some money on that game, that's brilliant. Hopefully some people out there got some money as well on that game. Because Crystal Palace are a good bet right now.
But yeah, if you keep watching, maybe you get some bet advice and you can win some money.
We have some advice coming up for the matches this week.
So stay tuned, ladies
Oh yeah,
and
stay
gentlemen.
tuned. I mean, that covers the Premier League pretty well. Wolves had a nice 2-0 win over Brentford. Brentford, you know, they've had a great season. Maybe they're running out of steam a little bit, but they've still had a great season. For Wolves, it was a great win. Wolves have a lot of talent on that team. You know, they've struggled this season, but they're good enough to stay in the Premier League, and they definitely are going to stay in the Premier League. So nice win for them. And it was a very exciting weekend in the Premier League, which kind of leads us to tonight's game. Liverpool, Leeds United.
Playing at the
Ellen Road. It's an old rivalry. It's a classic matchup. So let's talk about it. The first match this season at Anfield, Leeds beat them.
Yep.
Leeds won at Anfield. Leeds are the only team to win at Anfield in the Premier League this season.
Oh, wow.
The only team. So Leeds got them the first time they played back in October. It was a good win for them. Liverpool are in terrible form right now. Since the win, the 7-0 over Man United, they've lost to Bournemouth, they've lost to Real Madrid, they've lost to Man City, they had a draw with Chelsea and a draw with Arsenal. So 5 games, no wins for Liverpool. Leeds United, on the other hand, are not playing well either.
Yeah.
They got hammered against Crystal Palace 5-1. How do you feel about this game?
Well, to be fair though, I think Leeds could nick it on Liverpool. It's a both-sided game, and Liverpool won't be enjoying playing at the Ellen Road as well, because Leeds fan, they're mental.
Yeah, this is Leeds' 3rd consecutive home game in the Premier League, actually, because they had a match with Nottingham Forest. They beat them 2-1. So they beat Forest at home, then they lost to Palace at home. Now they're playing Liverpool at home. This is a tricky game to bet on. Very, very tricky game. I still don't have confidence in Liverpool. I don't.
You know what? Your call.
Liverpool did show me something, though, the second half against Arsenal last week. They did. They showed me that they still, on their day, can play well. Shockingly, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I am going to go for a Liverpool win in this game.
I'm not gonna disagree though. This could happen. Liverpool could nick it.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not gonna be easy for Liverpool.
It's definitely not going to be easy. In this game, it could go anyway. Leeds could win, and I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Anything could happen.
I'm gonna go for a Liverpool win.
Liverpool win.
I'm gonna go for a Liverpool win. Yeah, they've had 8 days to prepare for this game. They had a good second half against Arsenal last week. Leeds looked terrible against Crystal Palace last week. I think that Liverpool, they've gone 5 without a win. Eventually, they're going to win a game, and I think this is the one that they're going to get.
What do you think the score's going to be? I would say 2-1. Liverpool just nicked it.
I think 2-1's a safe bet. A good call. I'll go for 2-1 as well.
2-1. I think that's pretty great.
I think we covered a lot there, mate.
We covered a lot.
I love it. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back, guys.
Yeah, good to be back. Get those comments in. Get those likes in. And hopefully everyone had a great weekend, a great Songkran wherever you are in the world. Okay.
So let's see. So
yep.
If you have another thoughts on the thing that we said, maybe make sure you comment down below.
Get those comments in.
Tell us about the results you think it could be, or maybe even betting tips you want to share down below. Just get those comments in.
And we'll be back soon.
Everybody
out there, have a great week.
Place your bets.
Let's win some money.
Thank you. Adios.
Adios.
Brilliant.